All right, welcome back to another episode of the Do Hard Things podcast. I'm your host, Jay Teague, certified high performance coach, transformational mindset coach. And in today's episode, I'm going to share with you 7 strategies to help you get more discipline into your life. Before we get into today's topic, just real quick, make sure that you subscribe so you're notified of future episodes. Leave us a review. Leave us a review. They go a long ways. Smash that 5th star, the 5-star reviews, and leave us an awesome comment about, what insight that you gained, what you appreciate about the podcast. No matter what platform you're on, because we're on everything, to include YouTube, Apple. The Apple reviews make a huge difference in regards to the algorithm and the metrics. So even if you're listening on Spotify, I know that this is a hassle, but please go over there, take a couple minutes, and just leave us a quick review. It really does engage the algorithm so we can really spread the message and the work that we're doing over here at the podcast. And if you're listening to this on your podcast platform, we're also located on YouTube, so make sure you go over there and subscribe as well. Leave us a comment over there, and love to hear what your insights are. There's no doubt that there's going to be something in this podcast, that golden nugget, if you will, that could resonate with someone else. And with only 10% of people engaged in personal growth and development, if there's something in this messaging today that could resonate with someone else that's looking for some more discipline, or they need to level up their life in some capacity, screenshot this, share this with a couple of your friends. That's how we grow the tribe and the community. If you're not a part of the Facebook group, come over to the Do Hard Things Nation and join the community and the conversations that we're having over there. And feel free to follow me on social media, tag me, I love to know what your insights are. And if there's any other talking points or guests or anything you want me to hit on, would love to hear it. We're also doing on the weekly wake up on Mondays, we're giving out a free shirt each week. So we're looking for nominations. If you know someone that's absolutely crushing it in their health and wellness, in their affluence and their wealth, in their relationships, in their development, in some capacity, they're just doing amazing things. Nominate them, and we'll mention them on the weekly wake up and send a Do Hard Things shirt their way. All right, this episode is sponsored by DoHardThingsApparel.com. We have patches, hoodies, shirts, quarter zips, hats are coming out soon, and we're doing apparel. We're going to be launching out a lot of new products. They're incredibly soft. They're well made. People love them. They have a lot of different slogans on them. So we have the signature Do Hard Things flag, and they're located on all the sleeves of the shirts as well. But we also have, like, this week's was discipline. We're going to come out with a new one every week and on a regular basis. So you're going to want to go check those designs out. And when you're wearing something that says discipline, right, you're not going to be slouching around on watching Netflix, right? You're be up getting after it, right? It's just a reminder that, I do hard things. I'm a disciplined person. I have grit. I have, one of my favorite ones is burn the ships, right? I'll let the world know that I'm going to do this goal and go crush it. So it's all about mindset, and it's all comfortable stuff that I love to wear. So, and we're getting a lot of great feedback on the designs. So, all right. So today's topic, I wanted to talk about discipline. What is discipline? More specifically, like self-discipline, because discipline is like what telling a child to sit down and shut up in class. Okay, that's a form of discipline, right? Or punishing someone for doing something. Okay, that's not what we're talking about here today. We're talking about self-discipline, which is the ability to make yourself do what you should do. It's doing the things that you know that you need to do, even when you don't feel like it, right? Motivation is incredibly important, but it's way overrated. Motivation is very fickle. It wanes pretty quick. Discipline is what enables you to truly achieve success. Discipline isn't something you just have. It's something that you actually do. It's action. It's taking steps, right? When I see the hashtag adulting and people are complaining about doing things, well, it's doing that discipline action, the things that you know that you need to do, right? It's not always fun, but it's doing it knowing that you're going to have a better outcome because you did it versus not. Discipline enables you to commit and execute your responsible. Sorry, I can't even speak today. Discipline enables you to commit and execute your responsibilities before you relax or get involved into your leisure activities. Yes, it is important to relax and have some downtime. But come on, we all know that there's probably some people that are engaging a little bit too much in those types of activities, right? And that's a problem if you have some goals or there's something that you're wanting to achieve, but you're avoiding it and you're procrastinating, then we got a little bit of an issue, right? Then maybe we need to put some discipline back into your life. Discipline enables you to control your reactive emotions. There are 22 emotions on the Abraham Hicks scale. And you surely you have been flipped off on the interstate or cut off in traffic, and that's your initial emotional response might be to flip them off or slam on your horn, or that's what, and it could escalate to road rage if you're not careful, right? And discipline is like, okay, maybe you smash on the horn, but before you smash your foot on the accelerator to smash into the back of that Toyota Camry that just cut you off in traffic, it's like, okay, discipline. Logic brain is going to remove the steering wheel from emotional brain's control right now. We are a disciplined person. We're not going to go down this path, right? So discipline enables you to also control your emotions. Discipline enables you to have a healthy body and have, health and wellness is health and wellness is one of the pillars of doing hard things, health and wellness, right? Discipline enables you to have a healthy body, having the discipline to hydrate yourself, having the discipline to go to sleep on time, having the discipline to meditate, having the discipline to exercise, all those things that you need to do, having the discipline to recover. I always tell my runners this, like, recovery is training. So even for high performing people, sometimes it's the discipline to slow down a little bit, because slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So those are all various aspects of discipline. Discipline enables you to build affluence and wealth in your relationships. Discipline enables you to build happy relationships by being disciplined about date night and disciplined about being intentional about showing up in those relationships. Discipline enables you to develop, maybe achieve that skill, that college degree, or build an incredible career. So disciplines are incredibly important. We call certain things disciplines because they require focus and practice. We call playing an instrument a discipline. We call, participating in a martial arts a discipline. In the military, we focus on discipline on a daily basis. We have to have standards and discipline. Writing, painting, composing, these are all disciplines. Discipline it's a creative process and an expression that turns nothing into something. Discipline is a creative process or expression that turns nothing into something. And typically, discipline, if it's anything worth a damn, it's going to turn into something awesome and amazing if you do it long enough. So people are always looking for a shortcut or a hack or a quick fix. But when you do this, you're truly bullshitting yourself. You know this, but we live in this instant gratification society where we're looking for shortcuts, hacks. What's that? I don't know what that company is. They got the easy button. You smash the easy button and something's supposed to happen. We all know that's not sustainable, and it's not the best way to go about doing things. To reach a worthy goal, to overcome an obstacle, you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to do the work, and that requires discipline. There's no easy way to get something that you truly want that's worth a damn. You're going to have to do the work. Hard work requires some late nights, maybe some early mornings. It's going to require practice. It's going to require rehearsal. It's going to require repetition. It's going to require some level of study, maybe some blood, some sweat, some tears, maybe some frustrations along the way. But in the end, when you ultimately achieve your goal and you master something, it gives you that feeling of enduring happiness, that meaningful. You're talking about having a meaningful pursuit and then achieving it and leveling up. Like my daughters just recently, Phoebe just went for her yellow belt, and Paige just went for her green belt in Taekwondo. And it was awesome to see them because they were kind of really worried about they did their um, level up test on a Saturday morning, and the weeks leading up to it, I mean, I caught wind that they were doing it. So I asked them about, hey, you guys signing up for this? And they're kind of hemming and hawing a little bit, and they're a little unsure about themselves. And okay, we got nothing else going on. What do we need to do to get this done? Like, what do you need to shore up? What do you need to study? And so we committed to it. And then, we basically identified, had a little training plan. These are the things that they need to do. What are the things you need help with? Go to the instructor and ask, for help on some of these things, because they had to learn a little bit of Korean. They had to learn a couple different moves. They were strong on some things, but they had to kind of shore up their weaknesses a little bit, kind of focus in on double down on getting some of these other moves right. And they were nervous about it. And they were nervous up until the moment that they tested. And then when they actually accomplished the test and got their belt, man, I tell you what, I could see the boost in confidence in them. And they're incredibly happy about their achievement. And so that discipline of showing up regularly and the discipline to prepare for the belt exam. I apologize if I don't exactly know what it's called, but in Taekwondo, when you get your belts, the belt test, right? That's, seeing them go through that experience, like, just gave them a little bit more confidence. And seeing the confidence in wearing that belt, and that belt represents, that color of belt represents, what, I had the discipline to master some of these skills. And you can find that in a variety of different areas in your career and life and things like that, right? We have these things that acknowledge that, hey, we've leveled up a little bit. We've demonstrated our skill and our ability. And so that martial art is a discipline, and that belt is a representation of the discipline and the commitment that it takes to show up and demonstrate your ability. So discipline is the root of all good qualities and the driver of daily execution of the tactic that gets you toward your goal. Discipline enables you to overcome resistance that you face. Surely there's resistance on a daily basis. You think a day is going to go a certain way, and some days the resistance is stronger than others, right? It's going to enable you to overcome laziness. It's going to enable you to overcome your bullshit excuses when you don't feel like doing something, or the bullshit stories that you tell yourself that you can't do it. Can't lose weight. I'm big boned. I can't do this because of that. We have these stories that hold us back. Discipline enables us to bust through all that. So when the resistance kind of whispers in your ear, like, not today, do it tomorrow. I'm tired. I'll just do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. Discipline is what enables you to do the thing that you don't necessarily want to do, because you know that that's the right thing to do. And that's doing hard things is, when the resistance is there, when you get when it whispers in your ear, not today, do it tomorrow. No, I'm going to do this anyway. I'm going to do this anyway and get it done. That's discipline. And that's how you level up. So here are 7 strategies that you can employ to have more discipline in your life. So think of, first one's going to be identify and write down clear goals. So what specifically do you want? It kind of everything starts with clarity. When we talk about high performance, everything starts with clarity. What do you want? And why do you want it? What is the goal? You got to start somewhere, right? Specifically, what do you want? Is this something that you want, or are you doing it because all of your friends are doing it and you feel like you got to do it because you got nothing else going on, and you want to hang out with everyone else? Because this is a common pitfall, right? I want you to determine what specifically is it that you want, and you got to follow the SMART format. It's got to be specific. It's got to be measurable. It's got to be attainable. It's got to be relevant to your life and to your situation. And it's got to be time bound. You got to put a bookend on it. And I recommend doing something less than 12 weeks, or if it's a larger goal, you measure it and track it in 12-week increments, because if not, a year from now is too long. And if you fail, we'll talk about that here in a moment, but it's just easier when you can chunk it down into bite-sized chunks. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, and you can track it a little better. So why do you want it? And then no more than 3 major projects or 3 major goals at a time in high performance. Because what happens is a lot of people, they tend to overextend themselves. They're working on 10 things and they're not gaining any traction in any one thing because they just don't have the time. So it's getting hyper focused on no more than three things: identifying what the goal is, being very clear on why you want it, and then getting after it. So that's the start, right? The second thing is identify, once you know what you want to do, identify a strategy. Identify a strategy. So there are no shortages in strategies in like health, in the health and wellness world, right? There's all sorts of different diets, there's all sorts of different routines. When it comes to money, there's all sorts of different strategies to attaining wealth. There's so many different strategies. You can dabble in you can invest in Bitcoin, you can invest in real estate, you can trade time for money, you can start a business. There's so many different ways that you can generate income and have different strategies. There's all sorts of different types of insurance, right? All of these different things. There's all sorts of different strategies to skill development and how to do certain things in your development, right? So many different strategies. And the thing is to identify a strategy and then stick with it. And I think the pitfall in today's society is that there are so many strategies out there. And then when people start one and then they face the resistance, they easily switch up and they start a new strategy before they saw the other one through. And they get in this vicious cycle of starting things. When it gets hard, they quit and they go to another. They just dabble and they jump on all these different strategies. That's the pitfall of this. Identify a strategy and see it through until you get some momentum, and then later determine whether or not you want to change the strategy or not. But oftentimes people quit short before they see any real progress. So the greatest identity or the greatest thing advice that I could give you is to identify the daily and weekly tactic that's required when you identify your strategy. So you have a strategy, you know what your outcome is, you have a vision for what that goal is going to be. Then what you need to do is, what is the daily tactic that you're going to execute, the daily or the weekly tactic, the thing that you're going to do that requires discipline for you to do it and show up regularly, because you can't really control the goal or the outcome, but you can control whether or not you show up to execute that tactic. And that's where discipline comes in. So you need to know what it is that you want and then identify the tactic associated with achieving that. And then once again, you check in after 12 weeks or less, because if you're not achieving your goal, then instead of changing the goal and finding a new strategy, maybe you just change up the tactic, the daily action that you're doing first. So that's number two, identify strategy. Part of that is identify the tactic to go along with that. The third thing is burn the ships. Commit to the goal. Tell the world that you're doing the goal, and then start. Don't wait for it to feel right. Don't be afraid to start small. Don't overthink it. Just start. And when you tell the world, when you tell people that you're going to do it, you've just burned the ship. You've heard me talk about this before, burning the ships, right? There's no going back. We're burning the ships. We're going to conquer the Aztec Empire. That's what Cortez told his men. We're burning the ships. There's no going back. And when you tell the world what you're going to do, you're more than likely going to show up even when you don't feel like it, because people are going to be asking you about it. You're not going to look like a fool. And it's harder to stop when you've burned the ship. So decide, commit, succeed, burn the ships, get started. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to go exactly as planned. You can refine it as you go, but you must start. So many people are sitting around procrastinating, overthinking things, overanalyzing things. I've done that in the past. I've done that. I did that with the podcast. And actually, I was on a coaching call today with someone who's thinking about starting a podcast. And I had procrastinated a long time on starting the podcast because it just felt overwhelming to me. It just felt like there were so many things. What if I fail? It was the fear of judgment of other people. Maybe trying to compare myself. I was actually comparing to myself to other people. Who am I? All these bullshit stories I had for myself. But then I just burned the ships. I committed to doing it, and I haven't looked back. It's been amazing. And I'm like, man, I'm kicking myself in the ass. I wish I would have started sooner. So just commit to it and just start. I had that conversation today with a client, and I'm coaching him through. He's like, man, I want to start a podcast. Why haven't you done it yet? Well, I'm just procrastinating on it. It seems like an overwhelming task. We listed out the next 5 steps. and he's going to get this podcast launched in 2 weeks. It's awesome. It's amazing. Just start. Just commit to it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it going. All the greats will tell you they just got started and they refined it as they went. So that's number 3. Number 4, plan the day. One of the daily disciplines is planning the day. You got to manage your time. Got to manage your time. If you have reverence for life, you got to manage your time. So create a routine, daily habits. That starts with managing your time so you can identify where in the day that you're going to employ that discipline tactic to do the thing toward your goal. And this enables you to keep score and journal on your project, what's going well, what's not going so well. And with part of that should be identifying always being in touch with the next 5 moves. What are the next 5 actions that you need to do? This keeps you focused. This keeps you engaged on the next action steps, so you don't lose sight of the big picture. Because sometimes we just lump this project as, and this is just the project. And then we get sidetracked with life. Something will happen in our day-to-day life. We'll get sick. There'll be your car will have a major malfunction, and it's going to just kind of derails you. You'll have a couple of days, there'll just be a couple of days where things happen that are going to take your attention away. And then what happens oftentimes is people just get completely focused on what they were doing and they get caught up in the next shiny thing. What this enables you to do is look at the project and be in touch with it on a daily basis. You start the day off looking at the project and the next 5 moves, and then you plan your day around doing those things. And creating routines and creating habits, especially when it comes to the tactic of execution, is incredibly important. All right, the next one, number 5, visualize your outcome. Visualization is the practice of imagining what you want to achieve in the future as if it were true today. And it involves using all 5 senses, your sight, smell, touch, taste, hearing. And the process of visualization directs your subconscious to be aware of the end goal you have in mind. And the best thing is about visualization is you can't get it wrong. And there's a few different tactics of doing this. And that's, one of the very first tactics that I ever used was creating a vision board. If there's some things that you want, cut out photos of them. This is old school, right? Cut out photos of them, put them up on a board, arts and crafts style, right? And put them up there where you can see them on a regular basis. This enables you to visualize, to see yourself, with those things. My vision board has some overlanding vehicles on them. It's got a sportsmobile on there. It's got a motorcycle on there. There's a few things that I want. It's got a vacation home on there. It's got, certain relationship goals that I have on there, certain development goals I have on there. And that enables me to see them on a regular basis. Another thing that you can do is you can cut and paste those and put those on your desktop at work, like so on your computer screen, where you see you're logged into that thing on a regular basis. You can listen to guided visual meditation and think about all the goals that you're working on and go through the process of experiencing that. I learned that through phase 1 of 75 Hard. Part of the requirement of that program is 10 minutes of visualization. And the world's highest performing people have some type of visualization process that they go through, which enables them to stay crystal clear and focused on what they're doing. You can use index cards. You can use additional photos. You can utilize exposure, like going and, if there's I mentioned a motorcycle, going down to the motorcycle dealership, looking at the motorcycle you want, sitting on it, feeling it, and be all awkward until they tell you to leave or call security, right? So those are just some examples of visualization, but ultimately it's experiencing as if it were happening now. And that enables you to stay focused on the task at hand. All right, number 6, get a mentor or a coach. Get a mentor or a coach. That will enable you to close the accountability gap or close the knowledge gap and hold you accountable. One of the biggest things when I'm coaching clients every week, I'm asking, what is the commitment? How are we going to move the needle toward progress toward the goal? What are we going to commit to? And I hold people accountable. I ask them about it the very next thing on our next call. Hey, that commitment's not something you brush off. Commitment's like, this is what I'm going to do. And there better be a damn good reason why you didn't do it this week. There's going to be a consequence of some kind, right? So having a coach accountability partner, a mentor will enable you to just stay focused, because that reminder, we will often do things more for other people than we will ourselves. And having a coach or someone that's going to be that are going to hold us accountable reminds us of that. And just an extra layer of padding when it comes to fighting the resistance and the BS. So, the mentor, the coach closes the learning gap significantly. Have you ever played like a video game? And a lot of the fun is learning things on your own. But have you ever gotten stuck on a level? I was thinking about like Mario Brothers, where you're like, do, 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 and you're like replaying the same level over because you just can't quite master getting over the fireball or the plant that jumps up out of the pipe, right? And you have someone that's been there and done that before, and they come over and they kind of show you how to do it, and like, boop, you're able to do it. Saves you a lot of time and frustration, right? So having a coach or a mentor is someone that's guiding you so you can close in and avoid some pitfalls, just like on a video game. And like I said, sometimes the fun is learning the hard way. But when the sense of urgency is there and you really got to get through this thing, you really want to close in the gap on that goal. It's often worth it to invest in a coach or get a mentor of some kind. That's been one of the most profound things that I've learned about myself. And the biggest epiphany for me is to invest in myself in regards to coaching and mentoring. And then having a community of people that you can call on. Like I remember, 75 hard, having that accountability group when it got really tough in those cold winter months, like, call my buddy Craig or Stephanie, like, man, I really want to quit right now. Talk me off the ledge. Give me some motivation. Because if you're doing it alone, it's going to be much harder. It's going to be much, much harder, because sometimes you just need someone to vent to and talk you off the ledge so you keep going. And that saved me more than one time. All right. And then number seven, final strategy. Just see it through. Just see it through and don't stop. You're going to find incredible fulfillment when you have a meaningful pursuit and you see it through to the end. On the flip side of that, if you don't finish, it'll slowly erode your confidence, because your subconscious keeps score in all the things that you commit to and you fail. And how does it feel when you fail at something? How does it feel? It feels like shit. It feels awful. But how does it feel when you've completed something worthwhile that was difficult? It feels freaking amazing. It feels amazing. And that's where enduring happiness comes from. Because like I said, if you commit to things and you don't see it through, it slowly erodes your confidence. But when you do things that are challenging and meaningful and you see them through more often, you're going to feel that enduring happiness and that sense of fulfillment that is hard to replicate. It's hard to replicate those feelings. So, all right. So just to recap, the seven strategies to get more discipline in life: identify, write down clear goals, identify and execute a strategy, burn the ships, commit and start, burn the ships, commit and start. Number 4, plan the day, create a routine and execute the day. Number 5, visualize your outcome. Number 6, get a coach and a mentor, accountability, get community. Number 7, see it through to the end. Don't stop. Don't stop. If you've ever heard me coach or talk about this, maybe in a previous podcast, I know I've talked about it, is the 5 emotional states of change. You heard me talk about the valley of despair. That's where we want to quit. It's pushing through the valley of despair, which is step 3 out of 5, getting to number 5, which is, achieving the goal. All right. So I hope that helps you in some way. I would love to hear any insights that you gain in regards to discipline. Discipline isn't always the most fun topic, but it's ultimately what's going to yield you success. We talk about doing hard things. It's doing the thing, even though you don't want to. And, we all fall short from time to time, but the more discipline that we have in our life, the more fulfillment we're going to have, the more that we're going to accomplish. And so discipline is so incredibly important, because motivation is fickle. It's incredibly overrated. Discipline will enable you to achieve success. It's not something you just have, it's something you cultivate, and it's something that you do. And so my question to you is, as you look at your life right now, what is one area of your life that you're incredibly disciplined at? What are the daily habits that you have really good discipline with? What do you do? And how is that enabling your success? What discipline habits do you have right now that are yielding you success? My second question for you is, how can you cultivate more discipline? What area of your life needs more discipline from you? And what is it costing you by blowing it off or not engaging in it as consistently as you should? You know that there's something in your life that needs your attention, that needs more discipline. What is that? What is it costing you to not have discipline? All right. I would love to hear any insights that you have. Thank you for listening to today's episode of the podcast. If you like this podcast, be sure to subscribe so you're notified of future episodes. I would also love to know, what is your takeaway? What insight did you get from today's episode? You can screenshot this, send it to me on social, post it on social, tag me, and when you share like that, someone else out there may need to hear this message today. Only 10% of people are engaged in personal growth and development. And there could be a nugget here that could put someone on a positive trajectory. So feel free to share that, tag me in it, send me a direct message, send me an email, let me know what your thoughts are. And you can connect with me on all social media. You can send me an email at j@jteagues.com. Take a moment, leave a review on iTunes. No matter if you're listening to Spotify or any other platform, like iTunes, I guess is the gold standard for reviews, and it really goes a long way for the algorithm for people searching for personal growth and development, and it helps us go a long way. It means a lot to me that you took a couple minutes to do them. I read through all of them, and it just feels good knowing that this show is impactful. So if you gain any value, just ask that you do that. If you want to level up, you want to take the next step in your personal growth and development, you can go to jteagues.com, jaytiegs.com. We got a variety of options. We got one-on-one coaching, high performance coaching through the High Performance Institute. Certified high performance coach. Got a few different curriculums that I take people through. I also do group coaching. If you have an organization that needs a speaker, or you want a live workshop, I can come in and deliver some training to you and your organization. We also have the exclusive Forge Mastermind group that is an elite community of like-minded people that are growing together. And we have a weekly call there, and we're going to be rolling out new content for that. And then also we got apparel. So we've got go to dohardthingsapparel.com, get you a Do Hard Things shirt, show the world that you do hard things. We got hoodies over there, we got hats, we got stickers, we got patches, a variety of different things, and we got a variety of different models coming out. So you can show the world that you do hard things, and you can go over there and support us that way. That'd be great. So in the meantime, thank you so much for listening. Keep doing hard things. We'll see you guys in the next episode.